Welcome to the Copy Talk podcast. Discussions in this show should not be construed as specific recommendations or investment advice. Always consult with your investment professional before making important investment decisions. Securities offered through registered representatives of Cambridge Investment Research Incorporated, a broker-dealer member, FINRA SIPC. Advisory services through Cambridge Investment Research Advisors Incorporated, a registered investment advisor. Financial planning services through Lighthouse Financial, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Shannon Ross is CEO and managing partner of Lighthouse Financial. Lighthouse and Cambridge are not affiliated. And now, here's your host, Shannon Ross.
Well, happy Thursday, everyone. Welcome to Copy Talk. My brain already hurts from our pre-conversation on the show.
I love our pre-conversations now.
So I was like, wait, we need to record these things.
I'm like, we should just be on
Don't give the show away before we even hit record. So hello, welcome everybody. Hope everyone's having a good week. Today is draft day.
Happy NFL draft day, Copy Talk world.
You are in a very unique, happy place this morning. I love it.
On cloud nine.
Yes.
I'm extremely excited. Number one, for the NFL draft.
Yes.
I am extremely excited. I am excited about what we're discussing today. But before we get to that, just give me 2 seconds. I know this isn't a sports show, but this is why Kathleen Madigan and I would get along too, because she always wants to bring sports on her show, and paddles doesn't let her. You like my paddles, but you like sports.
I do.
Yeah, we like sports.
I have to. It's around me constantly.
That's
so
true.
That's
true. Okay, so NFL draft kicks off tonight, 6 o'clock Mountain, 8 Eastern. I have what I believe I love to watch where my Alabama boys go. I think I've got 2 first rounders. I've got Evan Neal coming in at 6'7" and over 350 pounds. He's going in the top 10. Jamison Williams, 79 catches, over 1,500 yards. He's coming in definitely in the first round. I don't know about the top 10. Definitely in the first round. I have a couple other Bama boys, Mechie, Robinson. I think they'll make second or third. But first pick of the NFL draft, Ryan, who are you calling?
I think the whole Trayvon Walker thing is a smokescreen. I think Aiden Hutchinson of Michigan goes number 1.
I'm going to disagree.
Okay.
I'm going with Trayvon Walker for 2 reasons. Number 1, I'm always going to vote. Defensive end's going number 1 pick, no doubt. It's going to be one of the 2, which is, everybody has QB talk. I only think 2 QBs are going to go in the first round, but that's just my opinion. Pickett and Willis, right?
Yeah.
But I'm going with Trayvon because, number 1, I'm voting SEC all the time.
Even though they've become kind of a thorn in the side of your Crimson Tide.
Oh, yeah, but I'll still always go SEC.
Fair enough.
Second of all, so what I've been listening to, it's been kind of quiet between the Jaguars and Hutchinson. There has not been a lot of talk going on, according to what I've listened to. So that leads me to believe it could be Trayvon over Hutchinson. See, I think there's been more hype over Aiden than over Trayvon. That's just my opinion.
I think it's been a smokescreen because the betting odds have moved to Walker only over like the last week. It's been Hutchinson this entire time, and now just coming on Walker. Feel free to dunk on me next week if you're right and I'm wrong. But
I won't. Wait till next week.
I'll still
send
go
you
with
an email
Hutchinson.
after today.
And then poor Kelly and I. Hi, Kelly. How are you? Good to see you.
We sports lovers live for this. Yeah.
Oh, I know.
So super excited about the draft. I know.
I'm happy for you.
But I had to put my NFL. I had to put the stamp on today because we're having a draft party at your house.
We are.
I love it. My bestie accommodates the draft lovers.
And I have a table for games for those who aren't fully in it. So I will be at the game table probably playing poker while you all.
Oh, I like poker.
So you'll have to decide.
Oh, well, that's an easy decision. I love you.
Have a TV in the kitchen. We could have that on.
Watching the draft.
We'll see.
Not the same. But anyways.
Well, it's interesting that we are kicking off the show with the NFL because we're finally having a topic that you wanted to tackle for a while now on this show. I've been a little hesitant, but I think there's enough going on that it definitely warrants a show or two towards it. And so how we're going to title this series is, when we were growing up and those Cocoa Puff commercials, like Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
Yes.
For Cocoa Puffs. Cocoa Puffs. We're
You're
talking
get
this one is Cuckoo for crypto.
Love it. Did you write that down?
Because people are crazy right now. So cryptocurrency has been all the buzz for several years. We're not obviously speaking anything new, but I do believe as the market volatility is going off the charts in the last, since the beginning of the year, I think people are looking to safer places. That's not crypto, but at least we are going to talk about it, what it is, a little bit of history around it, what it's not,
because that's
how
the
to
big
buy
question.
it if you want to buy it. We won't be giving recommendations because that's not what we do on this show. You have to make your own decisions and do your own research. But we are going to tackle it. It is fascinating.
It's fascinating. And that's the question. Like, at least for me,
it's like the soap opera of finance.
Well, how many times did I always look at you, and I'm like, what is it?
Yeah.
Like, what is it? And people would try to explain to me, it's like a credit card. There's no intrinsic value in the card, but you go into, okay, fine.
Well, and now NFL players.
Yep.
Several, and MLB, NBA,
Yep.
more and more athletes are taking part or all of their salary and contracts in different cryptocurrencies, which that's a different level of risky. But Odell Beckham being one of the one of the highest profile ones. But you also out there, when you look at that, you also have to wonder what kind of deals do they have on the platforms that hold their cryptocurrency. Because they're getting
getting sponsorships too. I mean, not all of their income is coming through that.
Right.
I'm not at their pay grade, so I'm not at any point able to put a portion of mine into crypto.
That's right.
But good on them.
So
good for you.
So
says Kathleen Madigan. Good for you.
So we're going to go there a little bit today, and we'll see how far we get.
Yep.
But it is fascinating because of it started. I mean, there's some algorithmic white papers that started as early as the 70s, but coming into really fruition out of the financial crisis of 2008. Probably the one, I think.
Hold on.
Yes, go ahead.
Before, because everybody else that's listening and still me going, okay, but stop there and tell me, what is it? What is Bitcoin?
Well, Bitcoin and cryptocurrency is different.
Oh, sure.
So
but
a lot of people use them synonymously.
Synonymously, yeah.
So cryptocurrency is digital currency.
Okay.
Bitcoin is a version of cryptocurrency.
Okay.
It's the largest. It's probably the most widely accepted right now. It is. It has most the biggest market capitalization out there.
Okay.
So, what is it? It's digital money designed to be used over the internet. As simple of a definition as we can come.
So if you have internet,
if
you can have cryptocurrency.
Theoretically, yes.
Okay.
Which is one of the most fascinating parts of it.
Okay.
Because it is not issued or controlled by any government or central authority, the approachability of it is why it was really invented in the first place. Is instead of having to go through a third party and trust their security or trust their ethics or what have you, or a government, they, and we'll talk about who they are, very ambiguous. They. Everything about this is very mysterious in nature. But it was developed to make it an open kind of architecture network so that anyone in the world with a mobile device or a computer could participate. And what I also think is fascinating is you don't have to understand it to participate in it. The ease of use in terms of buying and selling it is shockingly easy.
I've seen you do it.
I know. On our girls' trip, what I will share a funny story was that I have dabbled in it. I'm not giving an endorsement, but I can disclose that I do own some. And to finance some of our shopping spree, I was in the car using some of the appreciation I had from some cryptocurrency that I hold. And it took by the time we left the mall to our hotel, I had transferred the money that I wanted into my bank account.
Yeah.
I had sold the crypto. I had deposited it. I had psychologically replenished what I had just spent.
What you had spent.
And all within a 4-minute car ride.
I thought it was genius.
It was pretty crazy.
Like you spent it and it's already back in your account. This is fantastic.
And that was the last run it's had. It's gone down like 30%, 20% of value of what I've had, Since then. So I was like, see? It was good. I sold it when it was high.
That's so,
market timing is the dumbest thing people can do.
So look what shopping did for you. See? I supported it.
But that still didn't give my husband peace of going shopping, but that's okay.
Peace,
he knows what to expect. It's a girls trip. It happens every time.
Yeah.
I don't know why there's still shock.
Okay.
But
I think this is interesting. I know this isn't the point of the show, and we'll get back to it, but I think it's super interesting about the mystery around the person who originally, like, wrote this white paper.
Mm-hmm.
Satoshi, what's his name?
Nakamoto.
They don't know if it's a person. They don't know if it's a
Could be
group. Some guy tried to claim it. That got, I think, debunked because he had, like, no proof.
Yep. There's still
like,
not
some dude in Australia was like, hey, that's
consensus of who.
Because nobody steps up to say, why would you not say, I did this? I am the smart, intelligent genius who came up with this. And instead, you stay quiet and some Australian dude tries to take your glory. I think that's strange, but
that's part of the brilliance, because it's so, what I love about this fundamentally is it's about a system for the people. Like, it's more, they're trying, I do feel, based on all the articles, and I can't speak to whomever this person or group is, but they wanted to come with something that its true openness is part of the integrity of it, where it can't, I think whether it can be hacked or not, that's obviously up for debate. But how they architected it, why they put it out there, was to create transparency, to create a system that could go global, that anyone with an internet connection could participate in. And they would argue, I think, until they're blue in the face, that's secure and available. Yep. You know, we in this country, we take it for granted that, we put money in the bank and it's there and it's safe and we can go get it anytime we want. A lot of countries do not have that luxury. Right. I spent a lot of time in Haiti, and there, like, you have to have a certain amount in your bank account for even a passport. And if you don't have that, too bad. And they don't have any guarantees that you can access that money once you put it in, that you can get it out. I mean, you know, in so many different countries, their banking systems are corrupt. And so you don't have that open architecture. And so, you know, I think this whole movement is only gaining traction. And we'll talk more again about what it is. But for me, what I've been paying attention to is, when is the government going
to regulate it?
It's in my mind, because what else have you ever seen the government that has been successful not to get into, right? And Biden signed an executive order back in March to start the research and the support behind the American government starting to regulate it. So we'll see. And you have companies, what's hilarious also is right now you have companies like Tesla, PayPal, Xbox, Burger King accepting Bitcoin. Well, I mean, which is a large range. And Fidelity, this is huge. This just happened yesterday. This was just released yesterday. Fidelity, who's one of the largest 401k houses in the country, is starting a Bitcoin or cryptocurrency option 401k to be adopted by employers across the board.
That. Wow.
And so that's another very big, you learned it here, people, because
just so you know, it just dropped right here.
But those kind of things, those large adapters are going to stir it up, because as more and more people get comfortable with digital currency, the more it will take off, which is why a lot of people think that it will, although it's had a pretty big downturn dip in the last year, they think it will only go up over time. Who knows? No one has a crystal ball on any of this, or the market, or anything.
Sure.
But this is one of the most fascinating financial topics out there, because it is catching on like wildfire, but people don't understand it. You know, they don't understand the risk they're taking. They don't understand all of the things. So we wanted to at least debunk some of this.
Well, tell me why,
for our audience.
Tell me, because if anybody else, at least for me, what is it, and what makes its value swing so high, so low? Why is it so volatile? Because it is extremely risky and should be a small part of your portfolio. But what makes its value swing so drastically?
Well, no one really knows, but it's still a financial mechanism. So I think about 6 months ago, people thought, it's going to hedge inflation. No, it doesn't. It goes right in relation with the market. So as the market has had pretty substantial corrections in the last few months, so has cryptocurrency.
Okay.
Now, cryptocurrency, because of it's even wilder of a roller coaster ride, will go up and down every single minute, and so it's not something that you really want to be tied to on any substantial level if you can't take the roller coaster ride. And to your point, it is so risky. And what I always agree with is you have to be willing to lose every single dollar in it to be comfortable purchasing it. That's just my philosophy, because it's not regulated. It's not, the people who invented it thinks it's secure, but I go in, I have an account, and when I go every morning, I'm like, okay, am I okay if I can't get into my account someday, or somebody hacked it, or you know what I mean? Like, so I only allow, and everyone has that number. So my number is in there, and it's become kind of like, hey, it's kind of cool. I want to learn more about it. But it's not something I build my retirement on. It's not something I count on. It's not something, I could lose it all tomorrow and be okay. I mean, it's so high risk.
There still has to be the value placed on it. It's got to be linked to supply and demand, like anything else.
Yes, it's right? linked to supply and demand, but it's also going to fluctuate with the market and what inflation's doing, interest rates are doing. It's not isolated from the market.
I'm just saying, when Elon Musk makes a statement, man, he can make anything.
Which is why he's obviously has a very high percentage of cryptocurrency in his portfolio, and which is also why Tesla takes it. So these big market movers of they can shift different things because the size of their wig, and so. But what's interesting about this whole digital money platform is, everyone uses Bitcoin and crypto interchangeably, but it's not the same thing. Right. Similar to like Kleenex. When facial tissues were invented, they were called Kleenex. Yeah. And so everyone calls them Kleenex now because they were first to the market. Mm-hmm. So many people do the same thing with Bitcoin. Because it was one of the first and largest, everyone calls crypto Bitcoin. But Bitcoin is a specific type of cryptocurrency.
But wait a minute. Is there any other brand but Kleenex? Is there anything else that makes Kleenex? I'm just being honest. Like, I'm sitting here thinking.
Puffs.
Oh, yeah.
Puffs? Surely Kleenex owns Puffs. So you're right. I wouldn't say, hey, Ryan, can you hand me a Puff? I would say, no, can you hand me a Kleenex from your Puffs box? Thank you. I just needed it I didn't hear much of what you said after that, because all I could think of was, is there anybody else but Kleenex?
But anyway. To your point, and so when we talk about digital currency, the most popular cryptocurrencies right now, based on market capitalization, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, and Litecoin.
What is Bitcoin Cash?
I have not. I've gotten to more research on the two largest, Bitcoin by far being the largest, Ethereum being a second. But what is also fascinating about these digital currencies is you don't have to buy a whole Bitcoin. You can participate in $25 increments. I didn't know that. So, you can buy a segment of a Bitcoin, or, it's so interesting on what you can do. And What's hilarious is if we were smart enough and had $100 when it first came out,
I read this. $100
would be worth $55 million at its peak in 2021.
Yep.
$55 million, which is why, like, in 2021, you had a lot of crypto millionaires out there who are no longer millionaires or billionaires because of the correction in the last 6 months. But crazy.
Okay, you want a fun factoid? Oh, go. Yes.
Oh, I would just trying to help out. Bitcoin Cash allows you to buy in at a lower amount. That's kind of what it is. The little bit cheaper option. So, like, for instance, a Bitcoin transaction costs $59 on average, whereas a transaction with Bitcoin Cash is less than a penny. So, like, stocks versus like penny stocks, right? Maybe your upside isn't as big with Bitcoin Cash, but the buy-in is lower.
Okay.
Is it like blackjack versus penny slots?
Yeah. There you go.
Like nickel slots versus penny slots.
There you go. Okay. I have a factoid.
Yes.
Just because I think this is fun for people to hear. And I know I'm bringing her up a lot now. Kathleen Madigan brought this up on her pubcast, and then I read this. All right. You ready?
Yes.
Fun fact. Early in the Bitcoin days, a programmer named, not even going to try because I'm going to butcher it, traded 10,000 Bitcoins for 2 Papa John's pizzas on May 22nd, 2010. Today, those pizzas would be worth $613 million. In the crypto community, that date is now celebrated. So put this on your calendar, May 22nd, just so everybody knows that date is now celebrated as Bitcoin Pizza Day.
Yeah.
That be federal holiday, maybe? No?
If they take it over, probably.
Anybody want an extra day off work? I thought that was a fun, interesting little fact.
It is. It's more, I think the features of this is what fascinates people more so than anything else. Because it has such unique features. Mm-hmm. So the security behind it alone, the open architecture that we're talking about, is called blockchain. And they've developed some kind of very unique private kind of public key, but that's unique to each Bitcoin, where they can create a ledger just similar to a bank, where it writes down in a ledger like, this person deposited this today, this person took out this today. This does it at a automatic computerized level worldwide, but accurate, to take a ledger of every single transaction. Mm-hmm. So it solved one of the kind of double counting errors historically in digital currency, where they now think they have it solved, and it has been working fine. And I mean, you know, the proof is in the pudding, and they're starting to build some longevity on the sustainability of the security. And so this whole blockchain technology, I mean,
okay, when I start reading about blockchain,
you need like a PhD in physics and mathematics and computer
my brain
science.
Comes out my ears. Like I read it and I'm like, but how do we know that? I mean, my very next thought is, so what if it all shuts down?
Right.
What if there's this massive grid outage? And all of these, like that Bitcoin mine in Iceland just is, or the Enigma, wherever that is that the one in Iceland? There's some place called, it is Enigma. Uses, by the way, renewable energy, because Ryan was very concerned about its impact on the environment.
Controversial topic is because the amount of electricity it takes for these computers to do what they do for both the security piece of it and the mining of it, which is a whole other topic.
Oh, I can't with the mining. I can't.
Crypto mining is like, I
don't get it.
Basically, if you have all the computers in the world in a room, it starts to generate rewards for a Bitcoin. I don't know. Like, that is the way they do it, and how many computers you need and how long you have to be at it and who rewards the, that's part of the, and I love that they called it an enigma, because I was totally good. That's the enigma of like, what the heck are they talking about? But because, and if I was a Stanford grad cryptographer, I'd probably say, well, April, the blockchain is secure because it's tracked in the entire currency's global network. So the size of it and the accuracy of it and the open architecture of it is why it's secure. And there's,
and I would say
PhD
Stanford
white
grad.
papers on it. So,
which you can find the white paper online.
You can.
I get it. I mean, no, I don't
though.
Get it. But it is, I don't at all. Like the blockchain and then the mining. I tried to read about the mining on my own. I'm like, what?
Well, and we know some people with so there's actual physical Bitcoins out there.
The guy who
be careful disclosing, because apparently the FBI does not like you to have.
Well, the guy got shut down who's creating
because
them
there's
in
a lot of fraud out there.
Yeah,
and it's not that the coin is of value. It's the private key that is the same
inside,
kind of inside the hologram sticker that makes it legitimate.
It's cool to see, though. I mean, there's only so many out there, and then that's why the feds shut them down real quick.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah,
at least that's what this paper said.
Well, they're trying to get their arms around it. I mean, because obviously any kind of currency that's made to counter the dollar that's illegal is illegal, and it's a federal offense. So you have to just be, again, really careful. Do a lot of research, but the most fascinating thing is you don't have to understand to participate in it. So you have kids of all ages, and I call you all kids because you're like in your 20s, and that's probably when I see the most people participating in cryptocurrency. It's all ages, but I'm stunned by how many young investors
son has
are out
friends
there
who have Coinbase accounts.
Yeah.
Is that legal? Like, can you be 15? Like, that's, to me, that I was shocked by that.
I mean, you have to link it to a bank account, so theoretically, if you have internet, if you have a bank account, you can be up and running.
Yeah. Oh, he's got friends every day. They talk about it, about what that is mind-blowing to me.
Yeah.
My son does not have one. It's, I'm sure, a matter of time before he asks for it. But
let alone Snapchat. Now you have to worry about the ask of Coinbase.
Yeah, he still doesn't have Snapchat. No. I mean, he doesn't have TikTok, no Snapchat, no Facebook.
Yeah.
I know. I'm kind of not a fun mom, but whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be, just to be honest. Okay, I know we're not going to spend time on this, but do you really, for all of the inquiring minds that want to know, do even you understand the mining aspect of this? No. What are they looking for? Mining to me...
It's not like they're looking... Well, it's like a matter of time before they do a certain amount of these calculations that they're given a certain amount of
there
cryptocurrency.
Was the Satoshi
crazy.
Nakamoto, who still remains a mystery, created digital scarcity so that only a certain number of Bitcoins can be mined each year. So even though we don't know who Satoshi is, how did you just do that? Like,
Right.
how did you just intentionally create scarcity? That just is beyond
know.
me. And whoever you are, please come forward.
I know.
You know, they think it's some retired physicist that refuses to take
Yeah.
like any credit for it.
Yep.
That's okay. I know. I'm totally kicking a dead horse there, but I'm shocked. The mining thing, I just don't understand. It's like people are like looking for them, like an Easter egg.
But in like a digital world.
But in a
I
digital
know.
world,
It is fast. And which is why I think no governments can centralize it, because no one understands it. There's a select few that do it in the world that understand it. But for the rest of us,
do they? I know.
You know?
Okay. So do you think? And if you can't answer this question, let me know, because I'm asking your opinion. Because again, I know this is not an endorsement. Do you think once it becomes regulated, how do you think the response is going to be? Because a lot of people, what we were reading is this gained a lot of traction after the 2008 crisis because of mistrust in banks
Right.
and institutions. So people grabbed onto this because there's that middleman isn't there.
Right.
So do you think once it becomes regulated and the government pushes their way into this, how do you think people will respond?
I think people won't have a choice.
Really?
I mean, I think
Do you think it'll
if
tank?
they can regulate it,
Do you think it'll
they
tank?
can always make something illegal.
Yeah.
But because of the broad adoption of it, I think it's going to be really hard to regulate.
Okay.
But once they do, they're going to have to regulate it in a way that people feel like they're still winning and their rights aren't revoked. Because I think because of the level of adaptability to it,
Okay.
they're going to have to kind of meet people where they're already at, in my opinion, instead of being like a restrictive strong arm of sorts. Because I think it'll be chaos if they try to, do it how they've done other things in the past. So it'll be very interesting, and even, and again, we don't, our faith side of things, it talks about at the end times having a global currency that looks a lot like this.
Sure.
So that also is so fascinating to me of like, well, it's written down somewhere that this is going to happen, so.
Well, that's one way to look at it.
So the adoption rate is only growing. And I mean, I saw it on a gas pump sign the other day at a gas station that they were trying to accept Bitcoins for gas. Yes. And so, again, I didn't stop in to say, hey, what's all that about?
What's your infrastructure like to accept this? Okay. I will say there's two coins that I had never heard of. Are you ready? There is something called, now, don't censor this. Ryan, you may have to dub me out here. But there is a shit coin. And I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
That's a real terminology.
Yep. It's been discredited. That's why. It's
Yeah,
called
like
that.
Dogecoin or whatever. I don't know much about it. There's a shit coin and a stable coin. So the stable coin I had never heard of either. And I thought this was interesting because its value is, and you keep me honest, but it's pegged at a value to an external factor, like a currency like the US dollar. So then the things don't shift as dramatically as like your Bitcoin or your
Hence the name.
Ethereum. Yeah, hence the word stability. Says both buyers and merchants can be confident the value of their transaction will remain relatively consistent over a longer time frame.
Well, and you have people trying to invent certain things that are new to take away some of the criticism of Bitcoin or Ethereum.
Yeah.
But every different cryptocurrency seems to do different things and have different pros and cons and all of those kind of things. So it's a very mysterious world is what we've communicated today. I think.
Have you grasped that? If you didn't.
I don't think people are, they're probably still saying, huh?
They are.
So we will
'Cause I
spend
am.
another show next week just to give people more of, okay, even if you don't understand it, because we don't understand it, what does it look like if you participate in it?
Where should you go?
Where
to
should you go?
participate?
There's some things that, again, on our show, our job is to empower and to kind of raise caution flags of what trends are out there, what has had great adaptability, and what we've tried ourselves, not to endorse it, but just to have some firsthand experience in it. And so that's what we will focus on next week is more of the pros and cons and how to participate. If it's something you want to dabble in a little amount, again, anything that you don't care about losing, that's what you should probably figure out what that is. It could be $1, it could be nothing.
Well, and tune in next week because Shannon is going to break down for the world what a blockchain is, how it works, and how to mine. No, I'm just kidding.
That's right.
That would just
and the math behind it.
Yeah. Well,
I'll mine a Bitcoin while we're here. Just kidding.
Oh, I'm like, seriously? Can I mine?
You need like a small country's worth of computers.
Well, did you hear? There's a lady that walked in. I think she went to the Enigma. These are like buildings.
Real places.
Yeah, they're real places that she walked into, and the amount of noise. She said it was the loudest she'd ever been in, and the amount of like lights and like to me that's like right out of I don't know, The Matrix or some wacky sci-fi movie.
Yeah.
But interesting. I mean, I'm really excited about this topic. It was the white
fascinating.
Elephant in the room. We're a financial show. We've never talked about it because, well,
it's tricky.
I know. And I'm like, yes, we can finally talk about it. Well, and also Copy Talk World Tune in next week because we're going to find out who was right, Ryan or me.
Draft.
Trayvon Walker, Aiden Hutchison. It's got to be one of them.
We'll give you a whole 30 seconds towards it. Where can people find us this week?
I was going to say that. CopyTalkPodcast.com, our website, Copy Talk Podcast, Instagram,
Facebook.
Direct message, Facebook. I always forget Facebook. What's our hashtag?
I don't think we should convolute things anymore with like cute puns or whatever because obviously the name of the show is fantastic. I don't want to try to one-up Shannon.
No.
Just hashtag what is crypto.
Oh.
Just simple.
Well, can we
I know
also,
you're disappointed.
What would you do?
What would you do?
A little bit.
Me.
I'm a little disappointed.
You're genius.
Why not hashtag? How about Cuckoo
But
for
you did-
crypto?
you
Cuckoo
did
for crypto.
Hashtag Cuckoo
That's
for
what I'm
crypto.
saying.
That's
I'm
good.
not,
Okay,
if
so you
wanna
thought
do
that was good. Yay.
Oh, okay.
Gold star for
I
me.
can't beat that.
You know what? You're right. We put way too much pressure on you for this. That's true. And you
Awesome.
Well, she comes right out of the gate with it, and it's
Compliments.
like, okay, well, now I'm useless.
mic drop at the beginning.
April correctly predicts the number one pick, and Shannon nails the what?
We're
What am I
waiting.
even
We'll
doing
see.
here?
Why are you here today, Ryan? Really?
Well,
okay.
Good. Well, good luck tonight.
Thanks.
I'll be rooting
Well, you'll be
for-
with me.
I know.
So
well, I'll
you'll-
be playing poker, but I'll wait.
Not on number one pick, you won't. Not on the number one pick.
Well, good. Well, we'll have updates. So thanks, everybody. Have
Thanks,
a great
everybody.
day.
Discussions in this show should not be construed as specific recommendations or investment advice. Always consult with your investment professional before making important investment decisions. Securities offered through registered representatives of Cambridge Investment Research Incorporated, a broker-dealer member FINRA SIPC. Advisory services through Cambridge Investment Research Advisors Incorporated, a registered investment advisor. Financial planning services through Lighthouse Financial LLC, a registered investment advisor. Shannon Ross is CEO and managing partner of Lighthouse Financial. Lighthouse and Cambridge are not affiliated.